The Ballast Collective is I guess, a coming together of a couple of different artistic minds. Musical in the form of Nick Coultas-Clarke and myself, and dance when it comes to Andrya Duff. I mean, essentially the technology is these little sensors, and they look like kind of like Apple Watches. They're wearable on the wrists or the legs, and they can receive MIDI information, and MIDI just being like a musical language. So think of it as if you were to reach over for like a volume button on a keyboard or a synthesizer, and you would just turn it from 0 up to 100%, and obviously it would get louder or quieter. Imagine that now assigned as a gesture to one of the sensors. So in other words, instead of taking a button on a synth and turning it up, Andrya could turn her wrist and it would be the same effect.
I'm using some technology which encompasses basically a system or a program that's on my laptop, and they are basically physical triggers that are on each of my drums. So every time you hit the drum, it recognizes a part of the drum in which you've hit. So if I'm hitting the rims or the middle of the drum or the edge of the drum or even the side, it will recognize different parts, and I can map to the software those different hits that I'm using and hitting on the drum. So I can map whether it's a melody progression. So each time I hit it, it might go bum, 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 or a full chord progression. To look at the stage and see us performing, I mean, it would look like I'm playing drums, and Andrya is movement and dancing, and Ian is playing keyboard. Obviously, there's a lot more going on under the hood with that, but in terms of how it looks very traditional.
Even in relationships with musicians where there is a lot of true collaboration, and there is more of a conversation back and forth, having the ability to affect the musical composition in real time is something that I've never gotten to experience before, and actually be a composer.
Every time I sit down now, it's not just, I'm just going to practice this drum part. It's how can I actually create a song or a movement or a piece and things like that. And it's just expanded how I get into the practice room.
One of the ways that I think the technology really works in regards to encouraging connection versus some separation is that one of the things we started bringing into the show is asking audience members, and we've done it with kids and it's so sweet, that they can record an audio sound and then we'll immediately put it in a sensor, and they can either play their own sensor and jam with us, or if they don't want to do that, then I'll use their sound, and so they immediately become part of the composition as well.
Andrya is definitely the lead singer of our instrumental band, but at the same time, everything that she is able to control musically is kind of collaborated on in advance and then sent to her sensors from like my console or Nick's console. So there really is that, I guess, mutual reliance on each other when we're on stage, that like we're able to, you know, choose the sounds that we can send to give Andrya at any given time, but then how she uses those is totally up to her. It feels like one of the most kind of free-flowing artistic projects I've ever been a part of because of that very reason. It just feels very reciprocal between, you know, all three of the band members.